So welcome everybody. Glad to have you with us. Michael with Leading Practice. Here we're going to be speaking with Dr. Adam Jacobs, SF Custom Chiropractic. He's agreed to speak with us and share some of his insights, his successes, his wins. If you're not familiar with his practice, SF Custom Chiropractic is in San Francisco. He's really demonstrated his ability as a leader in the industry. He's been in business for well over 10 years now, expanded to multiple locations. And one of my favorite things is he was named best chiropractor in San Francisco 3 years in a row, and his patients just love him. So what a great candidate. So thanks so much, Dr. J, for being available to speak with us and share your insights with the other docs that might be listening in, viewing, or even watching the replay for this program. So maybe we could start off just getting to know you a little bit. Maybe we can ask, where is your practice right now? Give us a little insight into kind of your current and most recent circumstances. How does it compare from last year? And how's your practice doing?
Yeah, my practice is going really well right now. We have 2 locations, opening up another in next month, October. We had 3 prior to the pandemic. We shut one down because of just COVID, and downtown San Francisco was dead, and it still is dead. It hasn't came back yet. So we'll open that back up once that eventually picks back up. But yeah, I mean, our numbers are back well above pre-pandemic. We're trending in the right direction to have a great year, and things are going well. I mean, I'm able to take vacation. This whole month I've been up at the lake up in Idaho, and my practices are still running and doing good. So all's well.
That's so awesome. Yeah, kind of a funny story. Dr. Jacobs and I were talking briefly, but we're actually both on vacation this week. But he's made the time to do the interview, and it's been really nice. So we're so glad to hear that. Thanks for sharing. We'd love to know a little bit about why you decided to become a chiropractor. Everyone has a different reason. What was it for you that got you into that field?
Yeah, injury originally got me into chiropractic. I herniated disc in my low back. I was avid playing sports, all kind. Basketball was my main sport, but it was a wakeboarding accident that actually herniated my low back L5 S1 nerve root, and I wasn't getting better with standard Western medicine. After a couple months of care and PT, and I decided to try chiropractic out. I got relief. Decided that's what I wanted to do. My emphasis when I went into college, and no turning back there. I'm happy about my career choice.
That's awesome. Yeah, very cool. And glad that it helped you to recover and be able to function and enjoy sports again. So one of the questions we get a lot, and a lot of the doctors, no doubt, that are going to school, coming out of school, maybe working for another practice, are thinking about opening up their own practice, but they have concerns about some of the challenges that they're going to run into. What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a practice owner? Maybe you could highlight some of those challenges, and we'd love to hear how you address them.
Well, being an owner of a practice, it's different than just being a chiropractor. Being a chiropractor, most of you that graduate college or in the practice know how to get people better that have musculoskeletal injuries. I mean, that's the easy part. Running a practice is the entrepreneur side of it, and that's a business owner, which is we don't learn a lot in college. And so unless you have an undergrad degree in business, or you have a family member or friends that are savvy in that can help you along the way, it's difficult. And so, how are you going to get the patients in the door to keep that, the office flowing, and lifeline of a practice is new patients. And then of course, keeping the maintenance care of existing patients. So those are the 2 things that keep your practice afloat and can keep you thriving. And to be honest, there's a little bit of there's not one answer to get a successful practice. It's a lot of things, and you have to have a right team. I think that's a big part of it. Don't try to do everything on your own. A lot of people think that starting small or doing everything themselves, answering their own phones, doing their own billing, checking in and out patients, doing the one-man show is like the smart move to go to keep the overhead low to be successful. I disagree. I think having even just one assistant is important to have. You don't have any other doctors that if you're calling into a doctor's office, especially in the Western medicine, that you have that are answering the phone to schedule you for their visits. They're not checking you out. They're not taking their money. You got your assistants doing it. So having a practice where you have um, help is important, and then know what you know and what you don't know, hire out or source out. That money you spend might seem like a lot, but in the return on investment, it should pay off. So those are the two kind of big things. Don't try to do everything on your own, and just reach out for help on things you're not expert in.
Awesome. I love those tips. I think those even apply to multiple types of practices and really could apply to any business owner. Great insights, Dr. J. Thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
And so, when maybe if you could, how have you addressed some of these challenges within your practice? Anything that you've learned along the way specifically?
Well, I mean, I've been practicing over 10 years. There's a ton of things I've learned along the way. But I say the most recent in this pandemic is that you can't take anything for granted. I mean, there's uh, things will change all the time. When you're comfortable and you think things are going smooth, something happens. So expect the unexpected, and don't just sit there and be numb to it. React and do something right away. I mean, when the pandemic happened, right when I heard it was going to happen or start to close down, we went to telehealth if someone wanted to do consultations online or Zoom calls, and then we did ergonomic. We used to do a lot ergonomic on site, so we went straight to ergonomic mobile. So that was helpful to get some extra income when things were shut down. Um, but yeah, I mean, just don't expect things to change, because it will. And if you think that you're on top, there's always someone gunning for you. So you got to always keep on top of your game, so to speak.
Nice. Love it. Thanks for sharing those insights.
Yeah, yeah,
So changing gears a little bit, more specific to you now that you've gained this experience and you've addressed a lot of these challenges, you've learned what you've learned, you've got some things in place now to mitigate some of the things that a lot of new practice owners experience. What are some of your short-term and long-term business and or personal goals, if you don't mind sharing?
sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big goal guy. Every Sunday, I spend probably 2 hours just prepping my week and what I expect to have happen, what I want to have happen. I set short-term and long-term goals, both personally and business-wise. And I think everybody should write them down, not just like talk about them. That's important to go back and resource. That's a key to success for sure. Um, well, right. We just now franchise. So I just finished franchising my business. So the next office that's opening up is one of my associates that's been with me for a while. He's going to be franchising our brand and our systems into that location. So he's going to be part owner of that. And um, that's the big thing, is like, how can I continue to progress that and franchise out in an effective way that keeps our high quality of care and doesn't drop any of that, the brand that we've established. So that's the immediate business goal. Personal goals, I'm always looking for something to improve my health or wealth, and so whatever I can do in those avenues is something that I always put on the slate.
Very nice. Appreciate you sharing. I think a lot of us can relate to that, those goals. And one thing, if I may, one of the things I've come to appreciate about working with you is you're constantly making adjustments in your business to spend more time with your family. And we can tell that's important to you. That's what you're doing this month, spending
Yeah,
time with your family. I'm doing the same thing.
yeah,
And the way you run your business affords you to be able to do that and manage that and take care of those more important things. So I've come to appreciate that about
yeah.
working with you. So with that, what do you hope to achieve by reaching these goals?
Just security, stability. You do that, you can, like you said, spend more time with my family and friends. We'll keep working on my golf game, and just create a legacy or a name that's known as, a great chiropractor, that a place that people can go that guarantee to get better and, get good health, and not, something like that, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, cool. I love it. That's great. And so with that in mind, how do you plan to reach some of these goals? I know we're kind of breaking this goal question up quite a bit,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, all goals there should be some kind of way to track them, right? So you need trackable goals and things you do to try to establish it. So, I mean, using leading practice is one way that we, an avenue for our marketing and our, SEO and our website and stuff, that helps out in order to bring that, like I said earlier, patients in the door to keep the practice thriving. So, most people won't spend any money on marketing and chiropractors. Like I said earlier, most chiropractors want to just do everything on themselves or keep the overhead as low as possible. But you can't really grow if you're doing that. You always get boxed in, or you can only hit a set amount that you can do. So in order for you want to growth, you want to expand, you want to increase more wealth and security, then you need to spend some money on different services. And so I'm I don't have time or the bandwidth to keep up with the latest, Google algorithms or um, marketing trends. I have ideas that I bring to the table, and then I allow an expert like yourself, Michael, leading practice, to kind of go ahead and help me reach these new patient goals or bring people into the door. In my office itself, we have systems that are in place, that procedures that are in place that we've done for the years, and every year they get tweaked a little bit to be more efficient and better, depending on the scenario, what's happening. And so they're scalable, they're reproducible, and that's why we're able to franchise it, because all this stuff can be done. um, but yeah, I mean, those are the things that kind of help me track, is just, having something that I could see that those numbers are what they are, a place where I could go through and set the goals and work towards, um, weekly, monthly, yearly, and that allows the steady growth and stability. Yeah.
that's awesome, Dr. J. And thank you
Yeah.
again for a little prop there. We appreciate that. And it's been a pleasure working with you as well. And that's really, that's our goal, is to try to help where we can and streamline. And along those lines, I was thinking something that might be helpful to our audience as well is, as they're looking at putting some of these programs together, whether it's specific to marketing, maybe training their staff, what are some criteria or some things that they should think about when they're looking? Because I know for us, when we're talking to docs on a pretty regular basis, some have told us they're getting hammered with marketing offers, for example, or other types of
Yeah.
sales calls all day long, sometimes 10 a day or more. And
Yeah.
so how do they, what criteria can you give them as a practice owner that will help them to kind of screen out some of the stuff that may not be relevant to them? What should they look for that will help them get actual real results and really work to help them with their practice? Anything you can share along those lines?
Sure. I mean, I like what you just said. I had a million people that have tried to get my business for marketing, offering free services to, outrageous services. So like anything in between. But why I chose you, I guess that's probably what I could say is, I chose you, Michael, because we had, I think, two or three, probably about hour-long conversations. I was like, don't be bold with me. Is this what you expect? What I expect? Like, am I going to be getting this? What does that include? And for me, even though I have, a lot of system stuff, I do tend to want to be involved with everything. So I have a lot of check-ins and checkpoints with everything. And so I have a weekly check-in with you guys, which for me, that's a high value, because some marketing teams might check in once a month, or only, are only there if there's a problem, and just, they're just kind of put in a ad campaign, and then they sit back and then don't do anything to tweak it. So I like it that we have a communication that's easy communication to get a hold of. I get a hold of you, within an hour. You respond if I respond to you, and I love that. And I love it that you guys have brought in a platform that has a lot of things that are included in one. For instance, like I said, some might just do ads only, or some might just do website only, or some might do blogs or social media or whatever else only, or newsletter. Like, we have the ability to have all of it in one place with a leading practice, and we're able to communicate with our patients via text and email, and all that tracking is on in one place to see. So it makes it a lot easier for us to manage, instead of having a million different things that I have to manage, different services that I'm patching together to make it all come together. This is just one complete place, so it works well.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Dr. J.
Yeah.
And again, for those of you that are listening in, I hate for this to start to sound like it's a sales webinar. It's really not. Dr. J, we're just asking him to share some of the value, but some of those things we really appreciate. And I think, those that we've talked to value those same things. They like that it's streamlined. They like the availability, communication, and really those have very little to do with marketing, and more just about relationships and working with a company and partnering with somebody. And those values often get overlooked in growing a practice and figuring out who you're going to partner with to help you grow your practice, and in whatever industry, whether it's marketing or some other service you're going to bring in. Those are very valuable values to implement into a practice. So thanks for sharing. And I know, kind of switching gears a little bit again, you're able to teach. Are you still teaching at the college there in San Francisco?
Yeah, so I go to the upper quarter students there once a quarter, and teach business, basically. Have a whole day, or half day, where I basically come in and talk about the do's and the don'ts and things I've learned, and kind of tricks of the trade and whatnot. And so yeah, I've been doing that for 6 years or something like that. And then I host interns at my offices, clinics from the college every quarter. So we have students that come in, and students shadow all the time as well. So definitely giving back to the next generation's students. Before I had kids, I was doing some practice management stuff with new grads, and I just don't have the bandwidth or time for it right now, that I have a 2-month-old and a 2.5-year-old. So if you see any bags under my eyes, it's because of the lack of sleep from the children. But yeah, I mean, I'm always giving back and looking to help out the next generation of students.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Dr. J. And I know working with newer docs, that's so important. And thanks for taking the time with your current family situation. We did open this up as a Q&A as well. So one of the questions that just came in is with regard to our marketing discussion. How do you determine your marketing budget? And I love that question because it varies so much depending on the practice, what your goals are.
Yeah.
But any insight that you would offer, how do you determine it, maybe even at different phases in business?
Yeah. I've always been trying to, like, 10% of what I take in for the month or the year, whatever. So, we do about 100 grand an office. So I put about 10 grand in a month. So that goes to everything, right? So it goes to excuse me, leading practice. It goes to, gym memberships. That's marketing. There is a lot of little things that can be considered marketing, not just online. From swag to, health fairs to whatever it may be. That's all goes into play of marketing. So yeah, 10% is what I allocate.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm sure that we have at least a few docs that just keeled over from that high of a percentage. But you know what? Like you said, if you're getting a return and you're measuring that return, some things are not going to get you what you hope for, but hopefully if you put it in, you're going to get some out, and appreciate that. So here's another question that just came in here. I'm going to keep rolling with these if that's okay. Do you try to target a wide range of patients, or are you more specific? Like, how do you determine what kind of patients
Yeah.
to target?
Yeah, I mean, we're in San Francisco, we're in the Bay Area, so we're at higher end clientele as far as what they have income wise and also education. So that's what we're trying to really target is basically. I don't really also target really the elderly or the youth. I'm pretty much just working class, white collar, athletic professionals, people that like to be active. um, that's what we go after. We have a lot of relationships with gyms and personal trainers. I've been the Equinox chiropractor for years. We have some boutique gyms that we have market partnerships with that we cross refer, and so really active patients is what we go after as far as our target, and so that's what we target that as well. So a certain amount of income, demographically where they live, that kind of thing.
Very nice. Yeah, so really hyper targeting kind of that specific type of patient that you really want to get in your practice is key. Yeah, we appreciate that. And then you mentioned too working with gyms. I'm guessing you're alluding to the referral program that you kind of got set up. Do you want to share any of that, or do you want to keep that?
I mean, I just I've gone to Equinox and taken care of their staff and trainers for years, and then when our patients in our office get out of acute or become more stable in their care, we tend to we recommend it for everybody, do exercise or strength training at that point. And I'm not a physical therapist. I don't care to do all that rehab at my office. So we tend to refer to personal trainers instead of physical therapists. I found that in general, personal trainers can push clients more than physical therapists. Most physical therapists are used to dealing with the elderly, the weak, and they're not ready to get someone to push to the next level. And a lot of trainers will. So that's where my relationship is, and so that's where I get a lot of cross referrals from establishing that. But yeah, I mean that's it. I mean I work out regularly. All my doctors work out regularly, so we're practicing what we're preaching. So that's a big part of it.
Excellent. Very good. Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that. Another question that came in, Dr. J, how do you determine if your marketing program is getting the return you want? I have a hard time being able to measure it. What do you do? That's a question that came in.
Yeah, sure. There's definitely a fluff to it. I mean, no offense to even Michael. I mean, shows a number on the dashboard that this is how much value this is, which is I think there's just I think it's some of it's, but I think the reality is how many new patients are coming in your door, right? If they come in your office and you know where they're coming from, you should track every single new patient where they're coming from. And if you have a set number of new patients that have gone up, or you have a set steady amount now that you're using a certain service, and if it starts to drop and you're still using the same service, and you want to look at it, what's the reasoning behind that? But that's going to be your determination if it's worth what you're doing. Are you having more people come in your door that are paying? And then go from that. I mean, also, are they quality enough? Like some might come in and they might come in one and done just because they can't afford your service, or to me, that's not a quality lead, because that's someone that just got in from a promotion, but then can't continue paying for what we offer. So that's someone that I wouldn't qualify as a qualified lead. So you look at those numbers, you look to see, you track, and then you just do the math. Did those people that came in pay for the service I have that I'm using? And if it didn't, after you got to give it at least 2 or 3 months to kind of get the wheels moving and the groundwork laid. And then at that point, if it's not, then you can move on somewhere else.
Excellent. Yeah, appreciate it. That's a great answer. And I totally agree. Having your own way of tracking it is really good, not relying on a marketing company, no matter who it is, but just tracking that, establishing your own numbers. and then you can start to determine that. Another question that came in: how do you keep patients coming back? Any tips you can recommend with getting them, because no-shows are a big problem. So
yeah, I mean, there's the no-show issue, but I think maybe what the referencing is that people come back if you're giving value, right? So like usually people come and see a chiropractor because they have a injury of some sort or a quality of life that they can no longer do, what they used to be able to do. And so they're going to seek your help. That's the first thing, is like just establishing some kind of care routine that gets them better. And then moving them through the course of care, right? So like for us, it's like, you're in acute care, you see more often, and then we move over to like stability care. And now we're starting to incorporate some strength, some stability exercises, low tech, easy stuff they could do at home. Still given the full body adjustments and the soft tissue therapy. We all practice ART. We do active release technique. We also do Groston and kinesio tape and all that stuff with our patients when necessary. So we're soft tissue and adjustment combined. We don't just adjust only. So we're giving value per each patient. We're educating them along the way. Education's huge. So you got to tell them, why the problem came about, what's causing the problem. You have to figure it out, and then teach them ways to prevent it from coming back. And then you got to educate them on maintenance care. Everybody should get some kind of form of maintenance care. We all go to the dentist. We all go to our general practitioner for physicals. Like everybody does some kind of form of maintenance for those areas of their body. But for our spinal health, our musculoskeletal health, a lot of people will just wait until they're in pain. So getting some kind of form of maintenance care, whatever you believe in or feel like you justify. I get adjusted every 3 weeks. I get worked on every 3 weeks. That's my range. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but that's probably my average. So I tell people that right off the bat that, hey, it's easy for us to get you out of pain. We can fix this problem, these complaints that you're coming in for, that might happen right away. But symptoms are always the last thing that show up and first thing that go away. So the best thing to do is, I'm going to lay out this game plan for us to so we stabilize your condition, get you better, make it so we prevent it from coming back. And then we're going to establish some kind of form of maintenance care so we keep it from coming back. And people get that, understand it. And then that's how you kind of convert them along the way towards, a lifelong patient of health. Really, that's what it is. They're trying to keep their musculoskeletal health at a high level. And, you're the guy, or we're the guy and girls that get them at that place. So that's what we do.
Yeah. And I can attest to what you're saying, because I know for me, I tend to be a little more active like you, and I like to get involved with sports that sometimes are a little more prone to injury, not high extreme risk, but I used to feel that way. I could just go to the chiro, I just get adjusted when I'm injured, and it never failed that over time I learned the hard way that just doesn't work well. Just get your treatment the way you need to get it treated, the way the doctor tells you, and then you find that you get a lot better results and you stay a lot healthier from that. So personal experience on that one.
Yeah. Ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? The old saying. So
exactly. Very true. Awesome. Let's see. I got one more question here. Again, we don't want to prolong this, but let's see. This one asks, I always get hit with reps trying to get me to offer another type of service. Any tips to offer to decide which one to go with? So I'm guessing they're thinking ancillary.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, stay in your wheelhouse, stay what you're comfortable with. There's a lot, as chiropractors, we can go ahead and we can do a wide variety of things. And there's times I've thought about doing some other stuff to make extra income, but then I realize, well, for instance, like having supplements in my office, trying to sell supplements. I realized like you have this inventory that you're paying money for in your office that you have to feel like an obligation trying to get that thing sold. And it was so much more, I feel like, pushing on things. I'm an expert in musculoskeletal health. I can get people better with their musculoskeletal health. That's what I'm good at. I'm good with my hands. I'm good at, coaching or directing them in lifestyle. about that stuff. And so that's what we just stick with. Um, when I was an associate, we had decompression in our office. I think it works. So I think I wouldn't be opposed to decompression. It's just, it takes up more space and it's expensive. So overhead, you got to pick and choose. And in San Francisco, the square footage cost per square foot is more than anywhere else. So it's you want to you can't get too big of a clinic, otherwise it's overcharged. But yeah, I mean, there's a million different things out there. You just got to feel what you're comfortable with. I know there's we offer laser as well at our office, and we don't even use it that much, to be honest. But we have it. So just pick and choose what you feel comfortable with.
I love that. Great advice. Stay in your wheelhouse. I mean, how much
Yeah.
better can you get than that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, last question for you, Dr. J. And again, I know you're on vacation and you got a little one. We don't want to keep you. If you could share one thing with new chiropractors that they don't teach in school, what would it be?
Well, before you graduate, you should be shadowing as many chiropractors as you can, so you know what the hell you want to do and what kind of practice you want to have. So you have no idea unless you've seen multiple people do their job, in different settings and different techniques and different niches. So you got to find what you want to do. That's number one. The one that then the one that you feel fits your kind of way you want to practice. Work for someone like that for 2 years first. It's where you're going to learn the business part of it. It's where you're going to learn to get better with your hands, without a lot of risk, because you're going to be working for someone. Whereas if you took it, open up a practice on your own and you're learning on the go, there's a high risk of failure. I think there's 50% of the chiropractic population fails after 5 years, so doesn't make it. So work for someone for 2 years, get that down, and then after you got the lay of land and learn the ropes and have improved your hand skills, then open a practice.
Excellent. I think that's great advice for any doc. I mean, what a great thing for them to think about right out of school to get on the right path. So thanks, Dr. J, again, so much for taking the time. Again, if you're watching this video, Dr. Jacobs, if you didn't hear at the beginning, he's a leading chiropractor in San Francisco area, multiple locations. He's got some additional goals of growing. Named best chiro in San Francisco 3 years in a row. So again, some great advice. This replay will be made available soon, and we'll be sure to send it out to you for those of you that only got part of the interview or weren't able to make it. And we look forward to seeing you apply some of these benefits. So Dr. J, thanks so much. Best to you and your family. Enjoy your vacation, and look forward to keep continuing our working relationship.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Thank you, guys. Take care.